Hi, my name is Vanessa van Dijk, and in today's video I'm going to show you how you can layer hyaluronic acid and azelaic acid. Now I want to keep my focus on hyaluronic acid serum and azelaic acid cream, and this is how I want to share with you later on the demonstration as well. So first of all, I want to get into what each product does so that you understand for whom it is the most suitable. Then I want to get into my example skincare routines that I always like to prepare in my PowerPoint slides so that you can see it visually, have a better understanding of the layering. And then I want to show you the entire application. If you're just here to see the application, you will find the timestamps below and then you can immediately move forward. However, if you're completely new to both products and you want to have an overall understanding what they can do for you, I recommend going over the entire video. So first of all, I want to get started with hyaluronic acid. So if you have a hyaluronic acid serum at home, this primarily focuses on hydration and plumbing. And so due to the plumbing, it helps to reduce the appearance of fine lines and wrinkles, although those are effects that are only temporary while using the product. And so you can use your hyaluronic acid daily, in the morning and or evening, and it is suitable for all skin types. Now, hyaluronic acid should not be confused with an exfoliating acid like an AHA or BHA. Those are completely different. Even though hyaluronic acid has the name acid in it, it does not exfoliate the skin. Therefore, you can use it that often, and you can use it along with any other skincare products that you may be currently using. So that's completely fine. It's just purely an hydrating ingredient. Then on the other hand, you have your azelaic acid, which does not specifically focuses on a skin type, but more so on a specific skin concern. So with azelaic acid, specifically in a cream, you would use it after your hyaluronic acid, and it helps to brighten the skin, which mainly suffers from surface hyperpigmentation. Those can be brown spots, but even more so reddish spots, which are more likely to occur if you have acne-prone skin. And so after the acne is gone, you still have some red spots left, but it can help you to target this, to brighten it, to even out your skin tone over time while using the product. And it helps to smoothen skin texture. It's a very gentle exfoliant, and you can get it in different strength as well, depending if you're getting it over the counter or from a dermatologist. And so there you have your benefits of azelaic acid. Now, it primarily focuses on those skin concerns, but I do want to emphasize one more tip, and this is if you should have oily skin, azelaic acid can help you to reduce the oiliness. Like, it has the ability, I guess it's mainly about the formulation based on how it works, that it can help you to keep your skin more mattified, like for like a longer period of time. And therefore it can be a great addition if you should have an oilier skin type and you're trying to reduce the shine that occurs during the day or even during nighttime. And so then this would be a great addition to such a skin type as well. But basically, azelaic acid can be used on all skin types. Now, when doing this combination, you can use both products daily, in the morning and or evening. Now, you can go ahead and of course just use it once per day. This depends on what else you may be using and how you want to split your skincare routine. But I want to keep my main focus on the hyaluronic acid serum and azelaic acid cream. Based on that, I have prepared for you again some example morning and evening skincare routines so that you can see it visually, see the layering guide, so that you have a better understanding on how you can work with your products. Now, as always, the way on how I like to work with my PowerPoint slides, specifically the example skincare routines, on the top corner you will see when it the time of use, basically if it's a morning routine or an evening skincare routine. Then in the middle you sometimes will see what methods are being used. Under this you can see the steps and even the boxes with the products that I have picked as examples, and you can even see the names, what I can recommend, what I've tried so far. And then below you can see an overall general guide. And so you can go over those example skincare routines and many more tips that I always like to include in my PowerPoint slides that I do not share in my videos in the description box down below. You can even download the PowerPoint slides if you find them helpful. So let's get started with the morning skincare routine. You're starting off with the first step, which is going to be washing your face. This can be with water. However, depending on the residue that you may have left on the skin surface from the night before or your skin type, go ahead, wash your face with a suitable cleanser. This can be a gentle cleanser specifically targeting your skin type. This could also be an exfoliating acid cleanser, even though you're working with azelaic acid. This can work. However, you need to test it and see what your skin can tolerate. It isn't wrong to use them together, that's completely fine. However, if that should irritate your skin, I recommend just going with a gentle cleanser to properly wash your face while using azelaic acid in the same routine. So go ahead, wash your face, rinse it off, pat the skin dry. Then you're moving on to your hyaluronic acid serum. Apply it to the skin, leave it on the skin, there's no need to wash it off. And then you're moving on to your azelaic acid cream. Apply it to the skin, leave it on the skin, and then during daytime, just before sun exposure, 10 to 15 minutes before, apply your sunscreen evenly all over. Specifically, if you're targeting hyperpigmentation, you want to prevent premature aging, and overall have the protection from the damaging UV rays and not getting sunburn. So sun protection during daytime when being exposed to the sun is really important. So then for an evening skincare routine, if you want to go with the same setup, it can look pretty much the same just without the sunscreen. So cleansing step, hyaluronic acid serum, then azelaic acid cream, and then there you have it. However, if you should have one like a more stubborn, water resistant or mineral sunscreen and even makeup throughout the day that you cannot properly remove with your usual cleanser, you can go ahead and remove it with at first micellar water or an oil or balm cleanser, and then move on to your usual cleanser to properly rinse everything off to make sure that there's no residue left, and then this would be called a double cleanse. And then continue on with your hyaluronic acid and azelaic acid. And then there you have it, two options on how you can like create your evening skincare routine depending on the cleanser and sunscreen and or makeup that you may be wearing. And so then there you have the idea of what an example routine can look like depending on the time of use. So now I want to get started with the entire application. So we are starting off with the first step, which is washing your face. So this can be above the sink or take the cleanser with you in the shower. Either way is fine. It's very convenient to do it in the shower as well. Specifically in the evening, if you're trying to remove your sunscreen and or makeup, then I recommend doing so, because then you're making sure that everything comes properly off. However, for this demonstration, I'm going to go with a morning skincare routine, and since I'm always demonstrating it right here, I would do it above the sink, and I want to share with you some tips along with it on how you can make sure that everything comes properly off the skin. So we are starting off with the cleanser. I have two gentle cleansers right here. I'm going to use Cetaphil's Daily Facial Cleanser, which is great for combination to oily skin. If you have a different cleanser, exchange it, that's completely fine. Just read on the back of the packaging on how you should use your cleanser, since the directions may change. Do you need to apply it on dry skin or on wet skin, and based on that you need to adjust it. So here in this case it does say, well, apply to wet skin. So the first step that I'm going to do is now wetting my face, neck and hands with lukewarm water to warm water so it feels comfortable on the skin. Then I'm going to use about 1 to 2 pumps, which should be more or less about a coin size amount. Then I'm going to massage it over my face and neck for about 30 seconds to a minute. Please make sure to not get it into your eyes, nor into your mouth. Then I'm going to rinse it off again. And in between, I like to work with a soft and fresh washcloth, like those makeup cloths, which you can wet. And then this can help you to remove any last traces or residue of your cleanser, or in the evening, your sunscreen and or makeup, to make sure that everything comes properly off the skin. And then we're going to pat the skin dry. So let's go ahead and do this. So as you can see with the washcloth, I'm now able to properly remove any last traces of my cleanser that I couldn't get off the skin by just using my hands. And so now that everything is off, I'm just going to rinse it again with my hands, and then we are going to remove the water drops from the skin surface. So, and now go ahead and take a fresh towel and make sure that you can properly remove the water drops from the skin surface. This is extremely important to do before you're going to apply your hyaluronic acid, because when removing the leftovers of the water that's still on the skin surface, you are actually going to remove the excess water. So while I was washing my face, my skin was able to absorb some water, so it remains damp. And so all what I'm now going to do is I'm going to pat, or basically remove, the excess water that's still left on the skin surface. So, and once you have done this is actually what refers to damp skin, because my skin is still damp on the inside, but you won't see the water drops on the skin surface anymore. So it doesn't look any different than dry skin, but the difference is that my skin will remain damp for about 30 minutes before it actually is going to be dry again. And this is an important point to do before you're going to apply your hyaluronic acid serum on the skin, because if you are still having some water drops on the skin surface and you then are going to apply your hyaluronic acid serum on top of it, you're just going to mix your hyaluronic acid serum with the water drops, and this is going to be like a very smeary, weird texture. And once this has dried on the skin can feel extremely dry and tight, and later on when layering your azelaic acid on top, this can cause pilling, where you're basically rubbing off your hyaluronic acid serum because it wasn't able to absorb into the skin. And so then it looks like little bits are going to like come off your skin surface. You may think that this is going to be your skin, but it's not your skin, it's the residue of the serum that you have applied that couldn't absorb into the skin. And so therefore, now applying it on damp skin without the water drops on the skin surface, I'm now going to move on to my hyaluronic acid. And I have 3 examples right here. Of course, if you should have a hyaluronic acid serum from a different brand, go ahead and exchange it. As an overall general guide, if your hyaluronic acid should have a pump, go with 1 to 2 pumps. If your hyaluronic acid has a thicker, stickier texture, go with 2 to 3 drops. Or if it has a thinner, runnier texture, go with about 3 to 5 drops. This can be adjusted. You should have enough product to evenly blend it all over your face and neck, but at the same time it should be able to absorb into the skin, and it shouldn't give you a weird layer on the skin surface. If that's the case, you either have used too much of it or you have applied it to actually wet skin. So as an example, I'm going to use Timeless Pure Hyaluronic Acid Serum. And when doing the application, you can dispense some product on the palm of your hand, fingertips, or immediately to the face. Whatever works best for you, go ahead and do so, and then start blending it evenly all over. So once you're done with the application, you're going to leave it on the skin. There's no need to wash it off. Usually it should absorb pretty fast into the skin. However, if you like to, you can always give it about 30 seconds to a minute in between before moving on to the next step. Now the next step is going to be your azelaic acid cream. Now I have 2 examples right here, one from Paula's Choice, the other one from The Ordinary. Now, depending on the formulation of your azelaic acid, it shouldn't cause any issues if you have properly applied your hyaluronic acid, because then there's no residue left and you shouldn't have any issues to properly blend your azelaic acid all over your face and neck. However, if you have an azelaic acid like the Ordinary one, that one is very has a high concentration of silicone in it, and this sometimes can cause more problems, rather than Paula's Choice azelaic acid has a completely different formulation. So depending on the overall formulation, it may cause more or less issues. So with the Ordinary one specifically, I want to just keep my focus on that one for just a moment. This is quite a popular product. I know some of you have like this one at home, so therefore I want to go over this specific issue. Because it is so rich in silicone, if you now would apply it immediately on top, or even already rub it between your hands, depending if your hands are still a bit wet, or you may still have some residue left of your hyaluronic acid, same would apply to your face, then it starts to build up, like little balls will start to build up, because the silicone does not mix with water. And so therefore you need to make sure that your hands hands are dry and that your hyaluronic acid has properly absorbed into the skin. Now, of course, depending on the hyaluronic acid formulation that you may have, or maybe what else you are usually using, you can go ahead and before you're going to apply your azelaic acid, to quickly wash your hands, then again pat your hands dry, and then do the application of your azelaic acid cream to make sure that it's not going to cause any issues in between. So now as an example, I'm going to go with the ordinary azelaic acid suspension so that you can see the application. But as an overall general guide, when working with an azelaic acid cream, use about a pea-sized amount to evenly and thinly blend it all over your face and neck. So about that much, more or less. You can of course adjust the amount, but please do not overdo it. It just should be a thin layer all over. Now, when doing the application, please make sure to not get it into your eyes nor into your mouth. If that's the case, rinse it with water. And please do not use it on top of your eyelids or get it too close to the actual lower lash line. So, and once you have applied it all over, you're going to leave it on the skin. There's no need to wash it off. Now, if this is going to be your evening skincare routine, you stop right here. Then the azelaic acid cream is going to be your last step. However, during daytime, you can go ahead and follow on with your sunscreen, which is now what I'm going to do. And again, you're now layering another product on top of your azelaic acid. So if you have used too much of your azelaic acid, or you have kind of mixed it with water, or still with some residue left of your hyaluronic acid, you will come across the pilling issue again, because specifically again of the ordinary azelaic acid suspension, as it is so rich in like silicone. So therefore you need to really adjust the amount of product that you're going to use and make sure that your skin isn't wet when doing the application. And so then you won't have any issues when layering now your sunscreen afterwards. So as an example, I have COSRX Aloe Soothing Sun Cream. This is just one great example. If you have a different one, go ahead and exchange it. So as a general guide for your face and neck, and including your ears, go with about half a teaspoon. If you're going to include your décolletage as well, you need to go with a bit more, up to a teaspoon in general for the entire, covering the area. Now this can be adjusted. If you end up with too much product, like way too much product, of course go ahead and reduce it. It should feel comfortable, but yet you should be able to properly blend it evenly all over. If you shouldn't have enough, then please go ahead and add more to it. This mainly depends on the size of your face, neck, and even how much exposure you have on your décolletage, as well as the sunscreen formulation. So I have right here half a teaspoon that I'm going to fill up, and I'm going to use a bit more than that because I'm going to cover the décolletage as well. So this would be more or less for face, neck and ears. And I'm going to use a bit more for my décolletage as well. And then start blending it evenly all over your face, neck, ears, and even décolletage. Don't forget the back of your neck as well. And please make sure to not get it into your eyes, nor into your mouth. If that's the case, rinse it immediately with water. And if you can use your sunscreen around the eyes, go ahead and apply it around the eyes. This of course depends on the sunscreen that you're using. If it causes irritation when getting it too close to the eyes, then please avoid the entire eye area, and I recommend wearing sunglasses instead, or even just exchange the sunscreen that you can use around the eyes. So, and once you're done with the application of your sunscreen, you're going to leave it on the skin. There's no need to wash it off. And then this is going to be the last step in your morning skincare routine. Now, I do want to emphasize one more point, and this is that I have a specific sunscreen guide in my PowerPoint slides, which again, you will find everything in the description box down below by clicking on the link. And this is the example routine that I want to share with you so that you know how you can properly layer your hyaluronic acid and azelaic acid product in the same routine without coming across the pilling situation, because this can be quite annoying. And so I do hope that you enjoyed this video, that you enjoyed the little tips that you can do in between, which can make a huge difference when applying the products to the skin. And if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to give the thumbs up as well as share it. If you now want to learn more, you will find some of the videos at the end of this video, but more about it on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you soon in the next one. Happy skin caring. Bye.